For latest astrology videos, subscribe Astrodify channel and press this bell icon to get notified when a new video goes live. Hello everybody, welcome to Astrodify. Today we are going to talk about that what does each planet signifies in Vedic astrology, means what does each planet becomes a karak of, and we are going to take it in two parts. In first part we are going to cover certain planets, and the next part we are going to cover the remaining planets, and here we are going to discuss in detail that why are particular things and areas of our life are assigned to particular planet. Okay, so let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is given in the description. So today we are going to see that what are the karak significations of a particular planet, means what does each planet signifies naturally in Vedic astrology, and why are they given and assigned certain things and areas in our life. Apart from that, I have already made certain videos in Jyotish Basic Series, Astrology Basic Series. If you have not watched them, please watch them. The link is given in the card section also, and available in the playlist of the channel as well. We have discussed many facets of the fundamentals of the Vedic astrology so far. If you have not watched them, please watch them. Now we are going to start with Sun today. So as you can see here, I have already discussed that what is zodiac sign and the houses and the Varish and the Tithi and the Karan and the Nakshatra. These are the things related to Panchanga. I have made detailed videos on them. If you have not watched them, please watch them. So the thing here is that Sun and each planet governs certain facets of Panchanga. So if you can see here, as it is, Sun, the Tattva, the natural element of Sun is fire. Sun is Agni Tattva Grah. Then Sun is the ruler of Leo. It is the Varesh of Sunday, means the lord of the weekday, Sunday. Then it is the Tithi lord of two Tithis. One is Pratipada and another is Naumi. Then the Karan is Bhava. Bhava is ruled by Sun, and the nakshatras are three nakshatras: Kritika, Uttar Phalguni and Uttarashada. Three nakshatras are governed by Sun. Now, Sun naturally represents certain things. Now, first of all, Sun is the natural Atma Karak. It is the significator of our soul, the basic energy or the light which is required to sustain and create. So, if you don't understand this, I have talked this thing in detail in the first video, where I have explained that how the creation starts with the help of a Kal Purush Kundali. There I have explained that why Sun becomes the main important key planet for creation of the universe. So that is one of the major reasons that it is considered as the natural Atma Karak. Then it is also the divider of time, because of the Sun we divide day and night. So when the sun rises, then it is the day. When it sets, then it is the night. So it divides the time for us. So it is the divider of time. Then it is our ego. Ego does not mean pride or arrogance. Sun shows that what we identify with ourselves in this world. So what our true identity is, that is what Sun is. So ego means your identity and the things with which you identify in this world. It can be the true identity of a Atma or a soul, or most of the time it is going to be a false ego, like of a person being in a body-mind complex. So Sun represents the ego, the identity, the personality which we have. Next, Sun controls self-respect, self-esteem and confidence. If Sun is weak in the chart, people suffer from self-esteem issues. Then Sun is the energy, vitality, strength, stamina in our body, because that is the nature of fire. Sun governs fire. It is the source of fire, and fire is responsible for the energy and the strength and stamina and general health and willpower and dedication in our life, in our body. Then apart from that, Sun also brings certain traits in personality if it is strong. So Sun governs firmness, boldness, assertion, aggression. Not a bad aggression like Mars or Ketu, but it is a more a positive aggression in a form of dignity, where a person does not surrender easily and they never back down. They are relentless. That kind of aggression. Then Sun is our charisma, the glow, the aura which we have. It is independence, because Sun is known as the king. So the king means he is the superior or the supreme authority. So it represents independence, ambition, career, and dominance and power in leadership, government, politics, all these things, administration, management, status, reputation, fame, respect, the name you earn in society, show and glamour, that is all sun. Then it represents all the high positions anywhere all the high positions are governed by sun and Jupiter together. Then sun is the natural significator of father. So if sun is badly placed in the chart, we can see relationship issues with father or troubles to father. So father is the sun signifies father naturally for everybody. Then if we talk about our bodies, then sun governs cardiovascular system, immune system, bones, gallbladder, eyes. It controls the pitta. There are three elements: kapha, vat, and pitta. It controls the pitta, the acid in the body. Then it governs pineal gland also, head, hair. Hair not so particularly, but it impacts the hair, because if sun is very prominent or damaged, it creates baldness. Then sun is vitamin D, and calcium and protein together with Jupiter. So these are the things which come under the rulership of sun naturally. Now we will talk about moon. Now moon here, the tattva of moon is water. The sign is Cancer. The Varesh, moon controls Monday. Tithi is Dvitiya and Dashami. Karan is Balav, and Nakshatra are Rohini, Hastra and Shravana. Now moon governs certain things in our life, and it is the most important planet in entire astrology. Every planet has a particular important element to it, no doubt about that. But if we have to say that which is the most important planet without which the entire chart is going to suffer, that is moon. Because moon governs those elements of our life, of our personality, without which we cannot function at all. So moon is our mind, psyche, emotions, feelings, thinking, nature, behavior, personality, sanity, desires, hopes, wishes, happiness in our lives, any kind of sukha or happiness, peace, mental peace, satisfaction. That is moon. Moon is your childhood, your mother, and the home where you live, and your upbringing, the things which you got from your family, the values which you got from your family. It governs your attention span, learning ability, concentration, mood, nourishment, nutrition, empathy. So you can understand the value of moon, because without moon, without these things, nobody is anything, because you are not going to function without a proper mind, which is constantly disturbed, has no concentration, it's constantly under depression or any kind of other mental problems. How can you function no matter how good your other planets are? So the thing here is that moon is considered as the most important planet in entire Vedic astrology, which is also responsible for deciding the strength of the chart. If the moon is not going to be strong, no matter how good the planets are, no matter how brilliant combinations the chart is having, none of the results are going to be happening or fructifying in the life, because the person is not able to decide. They don't have a proper mind. And if you don't have proper thinking, your behavior, your emotions and feelings and personality is disturbed, how can you expect that anything is going to be working well in your life? It's impossible. So that is one of the major reasons that why moon, and I have repeated multiple times in my videos, that moon is the most important planet, and the Lagna Lord. Moon and the Lagna Lord, they govern the entire chart and our personality primarily. Now moon, apart from this, governs sleep, dreams, all the kind of mind, whether it is conscious, unconscious, subconscious. All the three areas of mind are governed by moon. Then moon is your imagination. It controls arts, beauty, creativity, food, hospitality, leisure, travel, oceans and water bodies. And moon in our physical bodies, apart from our mind and emotions and psyche, it governs hormones and blood circulation. Particularly, it plays a very vital role in cardiovascular system. Along with sun, it governs our chest and breast in females. It is responsible for uterus, menstrual cycle, oral cavity, stomach, and sinus in the body. So these are the physical body parts which are governed by moon. So I think you could understand the signification of moon which it holds in Vedic astrology. Now the next planet is Mars. Now Mars is the element of Mars is fire. The sign is Aries and Scorpio. Mars rules Tuesday. Tithis are Tritiya and Ekadashi. Karan is Kaulav. And nakshatras are Mrigshira, Chitra, and Dhanistha. Now, Mars governs certain natural things in our lives. So, it is the Karak of energy, stamina, strength, willpower. Because I have explained in the first video, if you understand that Mars is the individual Purusha which has now come into existence. So, Mars governs the heat part of the fire. There are two aspects to fire. One is the light and one is the heat. So light is governed by sun, which controls the awareness of the material world, and the heat governs the existence of a physical human body in the material world. So the heat is responsible for our sustenance. That is why Mars governs death also, because once the heat supply is gone, you are dead. Yeah, what a dead body is. It is a cold body, nothing else. It does not have any heat. So Mars is the controller of the fire, which heat aspect of the fire in our body, which is keeping us in this material world, surviving us in this material world. So Mars represents energy, stamina, strength, willpower, action orientedness, relentless. Mars is a very strong, bold, firm planet. So it governs relentlessness, competitive spirit, discipline. It does not, it is a very, it shows a stubbornness. It does not back down until it exercises its will. Then Mars represents our internal courage and risk-taking capability. It shows arrogance in it. Mars has arrogance, and it governs control, domination, possessiveness, anger, jealousy, lust, impulsiveness. Mars is also impatience in our nature. Then along with this, Mars is also indiscipline, stupidity. Means it takes action without thinking. Then Mars represents hatred, resentment, sadism, violence, cruelty, destruction, abuse, pain, trauma, injuries, suffering, accident, surgery, death, destruction, adventure. These are all the elements which are governed by Mars. Now, you might think that there are multiple conflicting points here, because Mars is discipline also and indiscipline also. It is continuous relentlessness also, and it is impatience also. It is control and what you can say, it is a positive aggression as well as it is negative anger also. So there are, that is why I am trying to emphasize this point here, that Mars is a double-edged sword. It depends on its wielder's attitude, because it depends on the placement of the Mars in the chart, that how the Mars is going to be functioning, whether it is going to be in the positive direction or it is going to be in the negative direction. If it happens to be in positive direction, it makes person quite strong and self-confident, and a person who is action oriented, never backs down, has good fighting and competitive spirit. And the person, no matter what, they suffer through various challenges of their lives, and they again rise up back and back again. But if Mars is negative, then it has full potential to induce negative qualities in us. So we can see people who are very harsh, bitter, arrogant, sadist, violent, and have extreme mental instability in the form of anger issues. All these things, who are extremely jealous. That is Mars itself. So it depends. See, there are various facets to Mars. So it depends on the placement of Mars in the chart. That is why I say that Mars has two kind of qualities, positive and negative. It depends that how the person is going to be exhibiting them in the chart, how it is placed. And apart from that, Mars also governs brothers and friends and enemies. Then it is the natural significator of land. Mars and Saturn together control land. Mainly the significator of land is Mars. It is also known as Bhumiputra. So Bhumi means the earth, and Putra born out of earth. So it controls the earth itself. Then earth means land here. Then Mars governs STEM fields, all STEM fields. It is the lord of science, engineering, technology, and mathematics. Mainly STEM fields. Without a strong Mars, nobody can be in these fields, whether it is education or career. Without Mars and Saturn, it is impossible to be in science and technology and engineering or manufacturing and production. Then Mars governs defense, protection, police, military, army, all these areas. Then in terms of our bodies, Mars governs blood, muscles, immune system, teeth, arms, shoulders, menstrual cycle in females. So these are various facets of Mars which it rules naturally in our lives. So I hope that you would have understood. But remember, Mars is always have to be checked how it is placed in the chart, and then only we can assess that okay, this is kind of the behavior what Mars is going to bring in this person. Now the next point here is about Mercury. Mercury has main element of Mercury is Earth, but it has some air qualities also. Then Mercury governs two zodiac signs, Gemini and Virgo, and it controls Wednesday. Then the Tithi Lord, Mercury rules the Tithis of Chaturthi and Dwadashi. Karan is Taitil, and Nakshatras are Ashlesha, Jyeshtha, and Revati. Now, Mercury governs certain things in our lives. It is the natural Karak planet for intelligence. Buddha. Buddha means Buddhi. So, Buddhi is your intelligence, intellect in our body. So, intelligence, logic, reason, calculation, analysis, inquiry, smartness, memory, sharpness, learning capability, language, ideas, thinking, education. It is very important for education and learning. If Mercury is bad, your education and learning is going to be hindered. Then Mercury controls detail orientation, keen observation, practicality, skepticism, rationality. These are the traits of Mercury. Mercury brings all these things if it is strong in a person's chart in their personality. Then Mercury is the natural significator of communication, language and speech, and communication of all kinds, whether it is verbal or written or non-verbal, any kind of thing. So Mercury represents, and it not only governs the type of communication, it also shows the means of communication, the things through which we can communicate or connect with each other. So it can show means of communication as well as means of transportation. So transportation is also a part through which a person can connect from one to another. And when I say means of communication, it also controls telecommunication and networking. It is another way, like social media. Without Mercury, it is impossible. Or direct communication, when people talk to each other over a telephone, that is also Mercury. So Mercury governs all kind of communications and the means of communication. It is a planet of tact, strategy, diplomacy, resourcefulness. It thinks and acts. It does not act impulsively and hastily. Mercury, if it is strong, it gives a kind of nature where a person has foresight. They think what is going to be the consequence of their decision, and then they act upon it. Then Mercury brings humor, creativity, innovation, invention, because it is deep thinking and keen observation. If you are able to see the things which other people can't, then only you can innovate. So that is Mercury. Then Mercury governs STEM fields also: science, engineering, technology, and particularly mathematics. Mercury is the numbers itself. So without Mercury, mathematics is impossible. Then it governs trade, commerce, business, finance, supply chain, logistics, transportation, media, mass communication, all kinds of mass communication. It is the significator of astrology. In terms of our bodies, it governs our brain, head, nervous system, skin, spinal cord, hands, ear, nose and throat, respiratory system. And if Mercury is not good in the chart, it generates a lot of allergies to the person, and it can show mental health issues as well. So this is what Mercury represents in Vedic astrology. Next planet here we are going to talk about is Jupiter. Now Jupiter, the tattva of Jupiter is ether or Akasha, and the sign which Jupiter rules are Sagittarius and Pisces. It is the lord of Thursday, and the tithis which Jupiter controls are Panchami and Triyodashi. Then the Karan is Gara, and the nakshatras are Punarvashu, Vishakha, and Purvabhadrapada. The Jupiter is the karak of many things in Jyotish. And first of all, it is known as a Jiva Karak. Jiva means the a living being, any kind of living being, not just humans, any kind of living being on this planet or anywhere else. That is Jupiter, but mainly on this planet. That is Jupiter. So it is the Jiva Karaka which brings life into a body mind complex. So that is Jupiter. And why it is there? Because in the first video, remember, I have explained that Jupiter is the ninth lord in Kalpurush Kundali, and it is also one of the reasons how creation starts. From Akasha, the creation starts. It is the changeless principle behind every changing experience. It provides the existence and consciousness to everything. That is what Jupiter personifies. If you have not, if you do not understand this concept, see the first video of this basic series. So Jupiter is the Jiva Karak. Then Jupiter is the significator, main significator of Jnana. Jnana means the knowledge, and just not knowledge, knowledge along with wisdom. It's not a mere bookish knowledge which a person has read. It is the knowledge which a person lives and abides by, and with experience they attain wisdom. That is what Jupiter governs. It is known as Jnana. Then Jupiter is our internal conscience, smartness, memory, sharpness, and it is very important for learning ability and development of the body. Jupiter controls the development of a child, all whether it is physical or mental. It governs pituitary gland also. And apart from that, as I mentioned, Jupiter is an extremely responsible planet along with Mercury for our learning, education, thinking, and any mental faculties. So apart from that, Jupiter also shows us the teachers in our lives, the gurus, the mentors, coaches who teach us life lessons and important things which help us understand the world. Then Jupiter is sagacity, foresight, bhagya. Bhagya means the fate or destiny, or and in general terms, the destiny or the bhagya means the level of luck or the kind of opportunities the world will provide to the person. No matter how talented you are, if your luck is not good, you are not going to get opportunities. So talent is one thing, skill is one thing, no doubt it is necessary, but the opportunities should also manifest in the world. You should be getting them properly at the right time, at the right place. That is bhagya, that is luck. So Jupiter governs that. Then Jupiter is your ideology and belief system, the moral code of conduct and ideals and ethics and values and principles which you abide by and live by. That is what Jupiter is. It is the planet of dharma. Dharma is these things which I mentioned. Dharma does not mean religion here. Dharma means your duty, your moral code of conduct, your ideologies, and the things and the principles which you abide by and live by in your life. That is dharma. Jupiter governs that. Jupiter is your compassion, kindness, philanthropy. It is the main significator of religion, culture, mythology, philosophy, spirituality, astrology, law, civilization. Without Jupiter, civilization won't exist. Without Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter makes the law and Saturn helps to implement the law. Then Jupiter is the internal humanity. Merely having a body does not make you a human. You are born you are born in a form of a human, or a living being, I should say. But your actions make you human. Merely having this form of a human does not make you a human. The qualities which human has, which we term as humanity, it is a complex term. That humanity, that facet, that integral aspect of our personality which make us human beings, that is Jupiter. Then it is your higher learning, research, invention. It is the Karak planet for money, wealth, finance. And if Jupiter is strong, these things will be good. If it is bad, no matter how good your other Dhan Yogas are, you will always face financial and money problems. Then Jupiter is respect in society, and respect of such a kind where people appreciate you. It's not like see, Sun and Jupiter both govern respect and name, but Sun is like people are afraid of you, they are fearful of you, and they are in awe of you. But Jupiter shows people respect you from their heart. Jupiter gives that kind of fame, that kind of name, where people genuinely appreciate you, genuinely like you, genuinely they think that yes, this is a good person. That kind of fame and name is represented by Jupiter, not by Sun. It is the only planet which governs this thing. Without this kind of name and reputation in society, where people respect you from the bottom of their heart, is not going to be good, not going to be there without Jupiter. So Jupiter governs this. Next, Jupiter is, as I mentioned, Sun and Jupiter governs all kind of high positions in society. Nowhere, it does not matter where you are, anywhere, it governs all kind of high positions. Jupiter is an expansive planet. It expands gradually. Rahu is also expansive planet, but it is sudden expansion like an explosion. Jupiter is continuous expansion. Then Jupiter also is responsible for our ego, because our belief system and ideology make us who we are. We think that okay, our education, our religion, our family lineage, and our career and other belief systems are the things which we are. So Jupiter also plays a very vital role in development of a false ego. Then Jupiter is also humility. And remember, Jupiter can bring ego also in the person because of their knowledge or material accomplishments. But if Jupiter is really well placed, then it does not bring that. Jupiter lets you understand the vastness, the infinity of knowledge, and makes you humble, that you understand that it even hundreds of lifetimes are insufficient to accumulate all knowledge of just one subject. Forget about all knowledge in the world. So Jupiter is humility in true essence. Then it is good for writing, music, literature, medicine, politics. For females, it is very important because it represents husband. It is very important for marriage for females. Then it is children, parenting, and in terms of our bodies, it governs fat, protein, liver, bile, cholesterol, thyroid, brain, lymphatic system, spleen, thighs, and digestive system. So these are the things which Jupiter governs in Vedic astrology. So today we are going to end here, and in the next part we are going to start with the other remaining planets, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. What do they represent in Vedic astrology? That we are going to deal with and discuss it in the next part. If you are new to my channel, subscribe below for more. Check on my website and Facebook page and Instagram. Otherwise, we will meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.